what only exists because humans are dumb. Let's not get on a tangent about the topic of TV ads for prescription medication. But recently, last couple years, they started adding a sentence in the commercials. Do not take Trevexica if you are allergic to Trevexica. What happened to make that a thing that they need to mention now? Why the hell would anyone knowingly continue to put a drug in their body if they knew or realized they were allergic to it? Answer: people are stupid. I get that it's to protect them legally, but it's mind-blowing to me that it needs to be said even to do that. The part that gets me is that the statement provides no new information. For example, I would say don't eat Snickers if you are allergic to peanuts. I wouldn't say don't eat Snickers if you are allergic to Snickers. The companies that get you out of timeshares. Till there are companies who get you out of timeshares. I remember my parents spent an entire day in Bali sitting through timeshare presentations because they wanted some freebie that was advertised. On a related note, it may be that there's another thing that exists because humans are dumb. It may be me. Wearing this costume does not enable you to fly. Tag on a Superman Halloween costume. Jerry Seinfeld had this joke. I liked his follow-up. I want to meet the person dumb enough to think that this might make him fly, yet smart enough to think to check the instructions. Several warning markings like don't put your cat inside your microwave. What the hell kind of cat did you buy that came with a warning label? Right? Mine only says hand wash only, not dishwasher safe. The word ambulance written in reverse on an ambulance. For those people that don't realize that the huge vehicle behind them, with the flashing lights and siren is, in fact, an ambulance. Maybe it's for deaf drivers. Makes sense, since the sirens are for blind drivers. Flammable tags on underwear. Some of us need that warning label. Licks finger and touches ASSSSSSSS. Measles. In 2000, measles was nearly eradicated, but then anti-vaxxers brought it back to popularity. There was this random anti-vaxxer who literally said instead of vaccines we should take a bit of the virus and inject it. The warning on my dad's old motorcycle saying this is a motorcycle and only to be used as such. I used mine as a ram once and it was pretty ineffective. It only left a small bump on the guy's cars, but it totaled me and my bike. The Darwin Awards that goes through stupid deaths. My favorite is the gasoline truck driver. When they get back to the yard, they would fill the tanks with water to evacuate the leftover fumes. It was late at night and he wanted to see how full his tanks were, but he didn't have a flashlight to see into the tank. But he did have a cigarette lighter. You can see where this goes. After a quick search to confirm the details, here's a classic that has stuck in my think muscle for over 20 years now. In France, Jacques Lefebvre left nothing to chance when he decided to end his life. He stood at the top of a tall cliff and tied a noose around his neck. He tied the other end of the rope to a large rock. He drank some poison and set fire to his clothes. He even tried to shoot himself at the last moment. He jumped and fired the pistol. The bullet missed him completely and cut through the rope above him, free of the threat of hanging. He plunged into the sea. The sudden dunking extinguished the flames and made him vomit the poison. He was dragged out of the water by a kind fisherman and was taken to hospital, where he died of hypothermia. Task failed successfully. I know a lot of people say warning labels, but let's be honest. Warning labels have probably never stopped stupid people from doing stupid things. They are just there to protect corporations from getting lawsuits. But the most ridiculous warnings only exist because some idiot actually did that stupid thing. They are there to protect the company, sure, but they wouldn't be necessary if the dumb thing hadn't already happened in an earlier iteration. The belief of a flat earth. This is by far my favorite conspiracy just to laugh at just cause, like, why? Who would lie about that? What is there to gain from people thinking the earth is actually a globe? Exactly. A huge scientific organization found out the earth is truly a disk, but the masses should know what? Effing. Why? My cousin believes this conspiracy theory because the Bible says Jesus went up on a mountain and saw his entire kingdom. I guess the dude had eyes 1000x better than a hawk. People are so profoundly stupid. About half of what a hospital does. Of course the side that deals with sickness isn't there because we're dumb. But the part that deals with glass bottles being stuck inside bodies is there because we're dumb. I'd argue half of what the emergency room at a hospital does, but not half of what the entire hospital does. A hospital does a lot of things outside of the ER. The Emoji Movie. Having watched it, I firmly believe it was the product of Columbia Pictures going through Pixar's trash and finding an initial concept for Inside Out. Zero tolerance policies. Zero tolerance policies aren't because people are stupid. It's because people are lazy. They don't want to spend the time and effort to figure out what actually is going on. Gluten-free on bottled water. It sounds crazy, but it might mean it's not filtered out in online shopping. Some things you would never expect to have gluten in them do. As the world moves away from plastic straws and look for biodegradable options, some actually have wheat in them. I've had customers who this took by surprise and now they have to check everything. It may sound ridiculous, but there are actually genuine reasons for it. Dated a girl who had a gluten intolerance. That shit's no joke. Felt bad for her when it came to that. Couldn't eat anything unless it was certified gluten-free. She'd be sick for a day or two if any gluten was ingested. Warning signs next to large waterfalls, cliffs, any other potentially lethal terrain. Sometimes I can understand at one of our old vacation spots there was a cliff that you couldn't see until it was too late. Popular hiking trail. Some really strange laws, like handling fish suspiciously, can end you up in jail in the UK. I believe it's in Massachusetts, but there is a law that says you are not allowed to keep a mule on the second floor of your home or something along those lines. In Georgia, a state, it is illegal to tie off your giraffe to a telephone pole. Let's see. Don't stop on the tracks. Contents are hot. Straw paper can go in your eye. The list goes on and on. Well, I will say this. The biggest talking point on the coffee is hot label is because a woman spilled coffee on herself that wasn't just hot but closing to boiling. Somewhere between 180-190 Fahrenheit, with the boiling point of water being 212 Fahrenheit. And she suffered third-degree burns and was hospitalized for 6 days due to McDonald's negligence. She sued them, which ended up on a settlement. After this, McDonald's put the warnings on their coffee so they couldn't be sued again. And to add insult to injury, put a smear campaign against this woman to completely downplay this incident. I would take a look at Liebeck v. McDonald's restaurants on Wikipedia to drive home your point. The woman was 79 years old and required multiple skin grafts because the almost boiling hot coffee soaked into her clothing and continued to burn her. She was getting treatments for 2 years. Imagine that. Imagine your grandma in the front seat screaming because she's soaked in boiling liquid. The smear campaign against her infuriates me to all hell, and I always try to educate people whenever they make a joke about this incident. McDonald's was absolutely negligent and their smearing of the woman is sickening. This is for external use only. Puts Clorox container down. Modern politics. If we were smarter, there would be a better collective decision-making process. Like bees. Yeah, instead of elections. Let the candidates stand before a swarm of bees and let the bees decide. Whoever gets the most bees to land on him shall be the president. Babysitters. If babies weren't so stupid, you wouldn't need one. I don't know why, but this made me laugh so hard. Peanut allergy warnings on jars of peanut butter. Jar of peanuts. Ingredients: peanuts. Warning: contains peanuts. The ability to opt your kids out of vaccines. People who genuinely believe 5G is bad and that coronavirus is fake. A moment of silence for our fallen brothers and brotherines whom had to grow up with crazy parents. TikTok. I swear TikTok is a plot to make people addicted to short bursts of information and reduce their attention span to make them dumb in the long run. That's in addition to being an easy platform to float really bad ideas and bad information to the easily impressionable. It is such a platform. All of it jobs. As a programmer who's done summit work before, I can safely tell you that 90% of the job is Googling how other people solve the problem. 90% is Googling, but it's knowing what to Google and how to put your findings to use that matters. My wife can Google her error messages just fine, but as soon as the solution mentions anything besides pushing a single button, she's done. Large-scale pollution. A few animal turds here and there aren't so bad. Millions and billions of gallons of human waste, landfills and oceans full of plastic, discharging all types of contaminants into the atmosphere daily in huge quantities, etc. We're the only organism stupid enough to destroy our home for a refined piece of paper with a number on it. All other organisms live without it. It's dumb how dumb we are. The name XAEA12.